That's what we preach. And I think that is the thing that I get out of this. We have to move to a place where we restore a relationship that obviously everybody agrees is broken. So we'll have to figure out how to do that. We will, no doubt, do that under the confines of the last resolution, which makes very clear what their role is and what our role is. So we'll do that. And again, our clerk will help us get a date to understand when we're to meet with them. The other thing that I wanted to mention is I don't want to conflate the two subjects. There is the issue of PAC and the challenges that relate to that, but let's not forget a parent who has evidenced a desire and commitment to participate in our committee structure proposed a separate process that has nothing, that actually does tangentially relate to PAC, because once you served in the committees, that was supposed to put you on PAC too. But we don't have to talk about PAC and in order to address her proposal. Her proposal was, how do we re-engage the parents that were involved in the committee structure into the conversations into this new structure? Assuming for a moment that we continue to eliminate the committee structure, how do we best accommodate those parents? And let me just say, I have an idea. We don't have to make a decision tonight. What I believe we ought to be doing is taking those 5 parents. I know some of them moved on. I mean, we had some really committed parents. GC was another one, very steady. What we could do, and we don't need to have a response to this today, but here's a proposal, and maybe I'd ask that you marinate on the idea, maybe come up with some others. Why not rotate 5 parents, not necessarily by committee topic, but 5 parents, and they come up here and they sit up here, right? Let's assume for a minute that Dr. Kino will be willing to give up his seat, or that he leaves here. Why not put a parent up here, rotate a parent up here, give them the agendas, give them the minutes as we prepare, as we get our board packet, and put a parent up here. So that's my idea. I've just thrown out there, I don't need it to be debated today. You may have other ideas that are better, but we should respond to this parent's request for participating in this process. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I really am one of those that want to return to the committee structure. And the reason that I'm interested in returning to the committee structure is that it seems that we're not getting any specific work accomplished around certain issues. And it was wonderful to have parents a part of those committees. With, for example, the community and intergovernmental relations, we have not looked at trying to put a legislative breakfast together. We have not, did the communications plan. We've done none of that because it seems to just sort of get infused into this other work, and so there's not the formal commitment to try to get the work of each committee done that we were doing. So that's just my perspective.
Thank you, Vice President. Commissioner Hallmark?
I feel pretty strongly about not having committees because I think it's very useful for all of us to get all the information all together, because it was very balkanized with the committees. However, that doesn't mean that we should not be, let me do that in a positive statement, we should be doing work sessions. So we've restructured to have 2 business meetings a month, but we have not yet really focused on doing work sessions, which we could be doing around specific topics like the breakfast and things like that. So we should definitely be looking into that.
I want folks to be heard, but please don't misunderstand my intention. We don't have to have this discussion tonight, but if somebody has a compelling response, they can have that. But we do have to, very soon, because it's already almost, May, to have this discussion about whether we'll continue the committees. Did anybody want to just add something?
I would support a combination of that idea of sticking with our 2 board business meetings, and then also having work sessions that are agenda driven, and that we can have parents serve on that with us and do the work with us at that level, if that's the point where we're making decisions and finalizing plans, versus this format here. I would also like to say I think it was a good suggestion to have them up here, but if the work session is not here and the decision is being finalized here, then they're not getting the opportunity the way that they used to on the committee structure and learning about the work and the pieces behind that. So I would like to do a support of that, of somehow a combination, but I do want to support what Commissioner Hallmark just said.
Commissioner Powell, were you going to say something?
Yes, thank you. Even though the Finance Committee doesn't exist, I still meet with Everton and his team prior to our board meeting when we discuss the the monthly financial reports, mostly just to flesh out areas that I anticipate you all would have questions for and make sure the administration is prepared to answer those questions. That might be an opportunity for a parent, even if we never have a finance committee again, for a parent to come in to those pre-meetings and hear in detail what the resolutions are, what the monthly financial reports are telling them, for the purpose of passing that information back to PAC. And if PAC isn't meeting or doesn't exist, then there's no virtue to that. So again, I say we really need to restart PAC in in one fashion or another before I can envision that solution working. Thank you.
Commissioner Hallmark?
So as a way to move more concretely towards work sessions, if there's some interest in that, is I would suggest that any commissioners who were formerly chairing other committees have some specific work items that they would like to address through some work sessions, maybe forward those ideas to our clerk, and, maybe we can get that started.
Oh, can I just add one last thing? The audit committee is actually still active by law, and we're open to having parents come and serve on that too, and I can reach out to Toyin, and I don't think she just wants to sit in audit, but I personally find audit very fascinating because there's lots of stuff you can learn about the district on the audit end of it and things that you can dig and look further deeply into in the history. But that's another committee where we could have more than one parent serve. There's no reason for just it to be one parent on audit, but that's quarterly. So that's just one suggestion.
Yeah, I think that is helpful, and I think even the statute allows for board members, it's specific language around appointing a outside person to audit that relates to that legislation. So you're right. I think the legislation calls for someone with that kind of auditing, accounting background experience. But you're right, that is a surviving committee. But to be fair to Toyin, I think what she was saying is
Miss Anderson.
Miss Anderson.
Miss Anderson. That's respect.
All right. With respect to Ms. Anderson, I think what she was saying is she wasn't just speaking for herself. She was speaking for a bunch of parents that very much wanted to participate in the process that they thought was very meaningful. So how I will respond to the email that you all received is I will tell her that, one, just so that she knows, we're going to re-engage with PAC. Two, we're going to reach some decision. Sounds to me like folks want to reach some decision about what's going to happen with the committees first, which is just 2 months away. And then that will ultimately dictate how we are able to respond to her request, which again, I think is a good one. And if we don't restore the committees, I'm going to say, and I think this is a fair representation of your feeling, we will figure out a way to make sure that she and others get to participate in that process. I don't know what it's going to be.
1, 3.
What's that?
3 work sessions. Work sessions.
Well, the board hasn't decided to do that. So I don't want to say it's going to be work sessions. I'm just going to say we will figure out a way to make sure that we engage.
And let me just also note that, I don't know if people read it, but Ms. Anderson and Larry Marks had an article in the paper, I think it was over the weekend.
Bless you.
I didn't read it. I didn't have a chance to read it. I still got papers, so, but you may want to, Google it and see that article.
Do you know what was about?
Can I ask one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't here when you were doing the parent council, the resolution you're talking about. Do you have any of the background material so I could get familiar with it and understand what's going on?
All right, so next item on the agenda is I need a motion that before you crowd in and say, I'll make the motion, let me finish it because it's quite a few things we have to discuss. I need a motion to discuss the discipline of a particular student, a motion to go into executive session, also to discuss a matter relating to a particular employee, and also I think we're set to receive some counsel or legal advice from our attorney. I think that pretty much covers it, right? Can I get that motion? Commissioner LeBron has made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Hallmark. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Good night, everybody. We're going to reconvene downstairs on the second floor, but I suspect many of you will be home eating dinner or whatever. Good night.